Watch this digital simulation of a data packet clearing a secure perimeter. In a standard network, establishing that access gateway is a routine security measure. But when you introduce the immediate demands of a medical emergency, defining who gets access to what data becomes a severe operational problem. Modern hospitals run on dense, high-velocity streams of highly sensitive personal information. Patient records move continuously between hundreds of distinct endpoints. Here is the Indian Parliament, the point of origin for the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, or DPDPA. This sweeping national legislation imposes strict mandates on exactly how data can be accessed and processed. This creates a direct contradiction. National privacy laws require rigid, documented consent gates. Hospital workflows require fluid, immediate data access to save lives. So, how does a hospital mathematically prove it is complying with strict national privacy laws without slowing down critical clinical care? This certification badge provides the systemic answer to that paradox. Look past the basic graphic design. This emblem is actually a dense, legally binding assertion of a highly specialized data architecture. Direct your attention to the text running along the bottom bar. With DGPSI-Hospital for DPDPA compliance in a hospital environment. That specific phrasing tells us a translation is happening. It explicitly acknowledges that generic, off-the-shelf legal compliance cannot survive inside a medical network. Displaying this certification proves an institution has engineered a localized, sector-specific data framework required to operate legally under the DPDPA. To understand how this architecture works, we have to isolate the legal requirement layer. The DPDPA establishes uncompromising nationwide rules dictating exactly how entities can collect, store, and process digital personal data. Under this act, the institution holding the information acts as a data fiduciary. They hold total legal responsibility to protect user data from unauthorized exposure. A generic data fiduciary, like an online shoe retailer, handles relatively low-stakes information, mostly purchase histories and shipping addresses. A hospital handles an entirely different class of data. They store biometric identifiers, complex genetic histories, and detailed psychiatric records. When a healthcare network fails to protect that information, the damage scales proportionally. A breach here yields heavy legal fines, but it also destroys foundational patient trust by permanently exposing immutable personal traits. The DPDPA sets a zero-tolerance baseline for mismanagement. Hospitals have to clear this impossibly high legal bar without ever hitting pause on their medical operations. The sterile text of a legal mandate immediately clashes with the physical reality of a hospital ward, where data must flow instantly for rapid decisions. Looking at the medical insignia on the left side of our artifact helps illustrate this environment. A standard digital consent flow is linear. A user reads a prompt, pauses at a gate, clicks Agree, and the data moves to the next node. Try to apply that linear model to an emergency medical triage scenario, and it mathematically shatters. A single patient's electronic record must be simultaneously queried by an attending physician, the nursing staff, and a pharmacy technician. Simultaneously, the system must trigger external transfers, instantly pinging off-site insurance APIs, or specialized external labs for rapid test analysis. If you strictly lock down all access to ensure absolute privacy, you artificially delay treatment and directly endanger the patient. To solve this, networks implement role-based access control, or RBAC. This allows specific tiers of medical staff to bypass standard consent gates based strictly on their job function. A specialized hospital environment requires a system that permits instantaneous emergency access while simultaneously generating a flawless automated audit trail for regulators. This brings us back to the center of the artifact, the DGPSI framework. The Data Governance and Protection Standard of India operates as the specific technical bridge. It translates the abstract requirements of the DPDPA into hard, deployable IT protocols. For example, when a surgeon uses role-based access to bypass a consent gate during a cardiac event, DGPSI dictates exactly how the system logs the time, user ID, and justification of that access for legal auditing. Now, look at the iconography on the right side of the artifact. Why does a standard for digital data architecture require a distinct geographical sovereignty badge? It stems from data localization, the legal mandate ensuring that critical processing power and data storage infrastructure remain physically located within national borders. You cannot simply import a foreign compliance framework, like the European GDPR, and expect it to function in an Indian hospital. Indian healthcare utilizes highly specific digital infrastructure, including deep integrations with state-level health ID registries. Foreign standards fail to account for these local integration points. Real data sovereignty requires the localized engineering of the rules themselves, tailored exactly to the operational nuances of the domestic ecosystem. Reintegrating these components reveals what the badge actually represents. Layer 1 is the zero-tolerance legal baseline established by the national DPDPA. Layer 2 is the high-velocity life-or-death operational reality of the hospital ward. Layer 3 is the DGPSI framework, acting as the precise technical bridge between those two opposing forces. The badge you see on the wall is merely the public interface. Earning it requires an institution to completely map, secure, and overhaul its internal data architecture. As national privacy laws become stricter globally, the era of attempting one-size-fits-all legal compliance is over. Highly specialized sectors will only survive these legislative updates by deploying highly specialized industry-specific frameworks. The DGPSI-Hospital emblem is the final proof that strict legal compliance and immediate patient care can operate in the exact same space, provided the system is engineered specifically for the ground it stands on.